Another useful and almost mandatory type of comments are those aimed at generating detailed documentation about our code. There is a program called Javadoc that organizes the documentation from Java programs in HTML files so that we can easily read them in our browser. Documentation in Java programs must start with a / followed by 2 asterisks and end with 1 asterisk followed by a /. Javadoc goes through your program looking for lines that start with a / and 2 asterisks and generates HTML documentation. But why should we use this kind of comment? Instead of looking for comments in millions of lines of code, you can go to a web page and find all the important information about a program. From now on, when we talk in Java about automatic generation of documentation, we will use the term Javadoc. As programmers, we are expected not only to generate good comments, but also to generate useful Javadoc. But what information should we include? At Oracle, you can find a good practices guide on how to write doc comments for the Javadoc tool. We will try to summarize the most important ones using a few examples. We will begin with the definition of a doc comment. A doc comment is written in HTML and must precede a declaration. It is made up of 2 parts, a description and a block of tags. Do not worry if you don't know HTML. We will cover the tags that you should use and how to use them. Let's think about a method that we have just created and the kind of information that should be provided for it in Javadoc. You should start your doc comment with a brief and complete description of what the method does. If you have more than 1 paragraph in your doc comment, separate them with a P tag. Then, insert a blank comment line between the description and the block of tags. Notice that each doc comment has only 1 description, and once the Javadoc tool finds the first @ sign, it assumes that the description has finished. Then, you use tags for adding information about, for instance, your method. Finally, you should place at the end a line starting with an asterisk and a / to mark the end of the doc comment. What information is expected to be included in the tags? In this video, we will focus on how to document a method. For this, we will need mainly 2 types of tags, @param and @return. @param describes an argument of a method, and it is mandatory for all the arguments of the method. The tag is always followed by the name of the argument. This name is always lowercase, and you are not allowed to bracket the name of the parameter between other tags. Then it goes the description of the argument. You can use articles in the description such as the. Then you should always state the data type of the argument. The only exception is for the data type int, which you can omit. To separate the name, description, and data type of the argument, you can write 1 or several blank spaces. So, if the method has multiple arguments, you should insert 1 @param tag for each argument. They should be listed in argument declaration order. For example, in this method that returns the number of pixels of an image, method receives its width and length measured in pixels. Notice that we have 2 parameters and we give the description for both. Regarding the description, if it is a phrase with no verb, it started with a lowercase. If it's a sentence with a verb, it started with uppercase. If the description is only a phrase, do not end it with a period. If it's a sentence, follow the grammatical rules. There are a few style rules that you should follow. For instance, use always the third person instead of the second person. It's okay to use phrases instead of complete sentences for the sake of brevity. Method descriptions begin with a verb phrase. Avoid Latin and acronyms. Avoid parentheses when referring to a method. Add a useful description. A good comment gives information that is not obvious when looking at the code of the method. Javadoc is a useful tool that allows programmers to automatically generate HTML pages with the documentation of their code. In this video, we have learned how to use Javadoc comments when documenting a method. Remember, in order to make your code easy to understand by other programmers, you should produce good comments. The way to add even more value to your code is to produce good online documentation through the usage of Javadoc.